What's up, peeps and geeks? How's it going? I am very excited to talk to you guys today about Starfield's ship customization system, where we discuss the intricate details of ship customization, power allocation, modules, and the various ship builds that players can create within the Starfield universe. Before we dive into the video, take a moment to click on the subscribe button and enable notifications. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitch, as I'll be one of the first to stream Starfield during its pre-release. Now, let's go ahead and get started and explore what's in store for you today. Video games for a long time have always tried to offer various ways to customize the world around you, ultimately to give you a personalized feel to the specific game you're playing, giving the game a uniqueness that best suits our own personal wants or needs, especially for role-playing opportunities. Starfield is no different, as they plan on giving an immense amount of customization options with various items, one of them being ship customization. The potential to tailor every aspect of a ship, from its weaponry to aesthetics, is something I am personally very excited about and very much interested in. In Starfield, ship customization is not merely a cosmetic feature, but a crucial aspect of space gameplay. Ultimately, there are several core statistics that players can manipulate, including laser damage, ballistic damage, missile damage, hull strength, shield durability, cargo capacity, crew allocation, jump range, mobility, top speed, and mass. These stats collectively determine a ship's capabilities, vulnerabilities, and overall performance in the game. For instance, enhancing laser damage, ballistic damage, and missile damage boosts offensive capabilities, while allocating power to the shield or the hull strengthens defensive capabilities. Understanding these statistics gives players the ability to hunker down and really fortify their ship to the exact way they want it to be. I think this is a really cool thing, as we will be able to determine how much of a specific spec your ship can have. Making a ship just full of laser weapons as it travels through space seems like overkill, but it just seems like a good time, especially since we know in zero-G environments, non-laser weapons actually will have physics to them. So this makes me believe that this is going to be no different with our spaceships. Being able to shoot missiles or ballistic weapons, those physics are going to act on that spaceship. Now, it's not confirmed, but it does make sense, especially if we're in the middle of space. That's why laser weapons will probably be the go-to weapon. With that being said, let's get a little bit deeper into how space combat will work. The game's power allocation system introduces a strategic layer to ship customization. Players can distribute available energy across various ship systems represented by 6 vertical indicators: LAS, BAL, and MSL, of which are being laser damage, ballistic damage, and missile damage. Not only do we have those 3 indicators, but there are also engines depicted by the acronym ENG, shield SHD, and grav drive GRV. Balancing power distribution becomes a crucial decision, as focusing on weapons may leave a ship vulnerable or less maneuverable. For example, prioritizing laser damage, ballistic damage, or missile damage increases damage output at the cost of diminished engine power or reduced shield durability, altering the ship's overall functionality. This feature is one that is fairly unique, especially since most of us grew up on Star Wars or Star Trek, where they talk as if they can also allocate power to forward shields or backward shields, or more power to lasers, etc. It's definitely a feature that adds a sense of urgency. If you can't allocate power efficiently, it might mean the end of your spaceship. I really am excited about this specific feature, as it just adds a little bit of game immersion. Moving on from power allocation, we're going to go ahead and dive into the modules and components, really making your ship the customizable piece of spacecraft that you want in your universe. Starfield's ship modules and components provide an extensive way of giving the player options to fine-tune a vessel's performance and appearance. Each component can add to the ship's overall statistics in various ways. Starfield gives several different types of components to add to your ship and customize in any way you choose. Looking at the cockpit first, cockpits, which will serve as the nerve center of every ship, offer several statistics, adding cargo space for any cargo you may be smuggling or delivering, as well as crew slots for any number of crew members you bring on to help manage your ship as you adventure into deep space. It also adds to the ship's overall mass, which I'm sure will affect its overall physics in terms of maneuverability and thrust speed. Something I wonder about is, we have seen a lot of times in trailers and gameplay that the cockpit seat is a one-seater interior, and I wonder as you progress in the game if you are able to get larger, more in-depth cockpit sizes that give multiple cockpit seats and cargo space, having several people, not just you, within the cabin, making it seem like a more full, lived-in experience. Moving on to engines. Engines will influence the speed and maneuverability of your spaceship, giving the lighter ships more thrust speed and hairpin turns, whereas bigger, heavier ships have a slower thrust speed and a wider turn radius. The specific attributes that the engine component affects are engine thrust, maneuvering thrust, and engine health. Engine health is important because, as we have seen, there is a skill that targets specific ship components. If the engine health or the engine is targeted and destroyed, that could leave you stranded in space, and that's not fun for anyone. It would be interesting to see a very small cargo holding ship with the lightest mass it can possibly possibly have be equipped with the absolute strongest engine, just zipping through space like a little fly, annoying the shit out of the heavier decked out spaceships. The next component to look at is fuel tanks, which affect jump distance depending on your playstyle, and the way you customize your ship means you could probably jump super far away or almost not even to the next closest system if not done correctly. It also provides grav jump fuel storage options, giving more storage to the fuel that goes directly into your grav drive, which I'm sure will decide how many times you can jump before running low on fuel. So there are two things to worry about here, which is how far you can jump each time, as well as how many times you can make that same jump before losing that fuel and being stuck in the system until you can fuel up again. Habitat modules, often referred to as the HAB, serve as the foundational structure of a ship. These different modules act as the living and working space of the ship. By adding more and more of these components to your ship, you will add increased space for crew members and workstations alike. These modules also include larger control stations and offer customizable health and mass, allowing players to create unique ship interiors to any player-specific liking and accommodate crew members as well. Seeing how this area will be the majority of the space you'll be in while traversing through space, and workstations will be housed as well as living quarters, the HAB seems like it's going to be your new home on your spaceship, which, if it's anything like previous Bethesda titles, there will be several workstations with varying options of use and utility. Moving on to lander gear is fairly straightforward, as it is basically just the landing gear that is essential for landing on different environments on unexplored planets. Landers also offer different mass options and add health to your spaceship. Going back to that targeting skill, I wonder if it would be possible to just target a ship's landing gear and then jump out of the system. I mean, I feel like it would be the kind of dick move, but if you want to be a menace, just destroy everyone's landing gear in the galaxy and run away. That way, no one's going to be able to land anywhere, and it's just going to be an overall good time. As discussed previously in the video, we know that we will have access to laser, ballistic, and missile type weapons. One of the ballistic damage weapons is cannons, such as the Mauler 104, which contribute to a ship's offensive capabilities. Each weapon has different attributes like class, reactor power requirement, health, and mass. Class being, I'm sure, the overall capability of the cannon, as if it was a tier-based system. Reactor power requirement meaning the amount of power it needs to operate, and it adds health and mass to the ship like previous components we have already discussed. One of the other types of damage is lasers, which we have seen represented by the Dragon 221P MW pulse laser, which shares similar stats like class, reactor power requirement, health, and mass. I'm really excited to see all these different types of cannons, lasers, and missiles with all their different types of capabilities and playstyles, as I would love to see the ranking of where each cannon lies on in terms of damage, destruction, power allocation, use, versatility, all that type of stuff. I'm very excited to get a deep dive in that when the game is actually released. Reactors are essential power sources as they generate energy and influence ship performance. Having powerful reactors that produce a large amount of juice aids in a ship's overall size and capabilities. Something important about reactors is balancing power generation, as it's important to make sure that power is being regenerated efficiently, which is where crew management becomes imperative, as reactor health, repair rate, and crew rating come into play. These factors are a necessity to make sure your ship runs smoothly and is always full of power to use for any situation that may arise. There are also a bunch of smaller components that still add to the ship's overall use in space, one of which is the landing bay, which allows the player to exit and enter the ship while it's on land. The next is a cargo hold, which has the main purpose of adding cargo space on your ship. Following that is the docker, which is a module used to dock with other ships and space stations. And the last but probably most important component is the ship's shield generator, which will be the main line of defense against massive asteroids or other enemy ships trying to take your ship down. Additionally, you are able to add decorative components like cowls, which add flair to a ship's exterior while slightly influencing health and mass. These are super cool as they can add structure to your ship, giving it the sleek look you might want or add the blockiness that you originally wanted anyways. The choice is really up to you, but I appreciate that we aren't limited to just the essentials but are given a decorating aspect as well. All of these components and modules add such an extensive way to customize your ship the way you want to fit your playstyle, and I'm all about it. It's just so intriguing to be able to fully immerse yourself in all of these different components, and I'm sure with varying variations, each adding to just an absolute beast of a ship. In other ways beyond functional customization, Starfield offers players the opportunity to personalize their ship's appearance by changing the hull's color. The hull's color customization allows players to adjust hue, saturation, and brightness, all contributing to a sense of ownership and aesthetic appeal, being able to truly make the ship something that represents you, the player. I love it as we can make the ship look as bright, dark, or as bleak as we want, and this little additive really sparks a creative side in me, and I am beyond excited to get down and dirty with this feature. The game also encourages creative shipbuilding strategies by highlighting different ship builds, from hull-focused focused fighters, and balanced defensive destroyers to cargo freighters with substantial hull and mass, players are able to create any type of ship they desire and have many different avenues of obtaining such amazing ship designs. And for those who want to take the gameplay seriously, they must carefully evaluate trade-offs and prioritize attributes based on the intended playstyle and objectives, truly making it personalized to that player. Something I think that is equally important about ship customization in the modules or components is the way you, the player, are able to obtain them. To customize your ships in Starfield, you first need to talk to a ship technician. The ship technician lets you buy and sell different ship parts, as well as add modifications to your existing components. Depending on the area you're in or which faction you are aligned with, each technician will have different brands of components and modules to sell you. Each brand will likely have its own characteristics in terms of weight, speed, strength, firepower, etc. Also, those components will have the manufactured logo with varying styles and structures to them, giving them distinct looks and adding a more thoughtful customization experience, as there is more to look at and see past the base statistics of the modules you'll be buying and applying to your ship. It's also very important to keep in mind that Todd Howard has also made it clear that while you can upgrade things almost from the start, full-on modular shipbuilding is more of a late game activity, so be prepared to grind and acquire resources and materials to be able to deck your ship out as much as possible. As we know that buying ships and modules, applying them will not be a cheap endeavor, with some ships costing over 390,000 space credits and their components probably costing thousands of space credits each. Just be prepared to be patient, that unless you have unlocked and ranked up specific skills, you won't be able to purchase specific modules and apply them either, even if you have the right amount of credits and resources, so spend your skills thoughtfully. Starfield's ship customization and modular design system promise an immersive, engaging experience for players. I am beyond excited to be able to dive into this in-depth system and make several absolutely stunning ships. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this video, and be sure to leave a like and comment on what type of ships you're looking forward to make, as I would love to hear your guys' ideas, thoughts, and strategies. And make sure you hit that subscribe button to see more Starfield content in the future. And if this video is something you enjoyed, think about clicking on one of the following videos, as it might be of interest to you. As Starfield is due to drop very soon here, I will see you guys soon in another video.